Pie in the Sky Media.
Three, two, one. We're live. All right. Good evening, Criminal Mischief Nation. Welcome back to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Brandon. It's raining in Los Angeles. I feel for a second like I'm from Seattle. Everything is just gloomy and dreary,
Okay, first of all,
and water is falling from the sky.
we've had nothing. Well, like over the weekend, I mowed the lawn. It
Oh,
was so nice. It was
I,
like,
I, it rained so much. I had to cover everything. I'm worried about the backyard animals, but I
oh
got
my
them all.
gosh.
I've got them all taken care of. They're warm and dry, and the squirrels are fed. And Shorty, the outdoor cat, is in his little apartment that's heated, so he's happy. But it's been such a strange February in LA. It's been like the most pleasant, beautiful summer that you can imagine. 75, 80 degrees every day. No clouds, no breeze, no humidity. Just absolutely perfect weather. And then it becomes Seattle for a second.
I love how you equate rain with like gloomy and like
Awful
Seattle
sadness,
and like,
sadness and
you
despair, melancholy. Yeah, all
know
of
what?
it.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, there, never mind. I'm not even gonna say it.
All
I'm
right,
just
well,
gonna
well,
wait.
let's pivot
I'm
to
just gonna
someone
wait.
with let's pivot to someone with real problems.
Can you say pivot without like,
Nancy Guthrie. I know Nancy Guthrie.
oh my gosh, I feel so bad for this family and for, of course, Nancy. What? You're rocking
I
back and forth.
I just you asked the question at the end of the interview. You think she's alive? And he goes, no, of course not. Yeah, and now that's been my feeling from the beginning that it's a Lindbergh baby type of situation where it may have started off as we want to kidnap her. Maybe it was just a relative told a bad guy the combination to the safe or something, and it went bad. And the whole ransom thing is just a distraction so he could flee the country. But
Well,
I think she died that night. But I hope I'm
did you hear
wrong.
that they've like the latest thing that I saw is that they were deploying a signal sniffer, and that's basically a hot helicopter mounted with this device that sniffs for her pacemaker. I
Sniffs
don't.
like electronic sniff, like it.
I,
No, because no, because that's a thing. That's a thing. It like
yeah,
it
to
scans
detect
for.
electronic signals
Yeah.
from
Okay.
Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker.
Wow. I think
I,
it was
I
sniffer. That was like this kid I knew in college. That's what we called him. But I don't think it's the same thing.
Wait a second. There's so many wrong things. And judging by the fact that you're
What?
turning,
No, I was looking for. I dropped
judging by the
something.
fact that you're sniffing around down,
No, I dropped something over there. I was looking. I wasn't
uh,
laughing. Don't make
uh,
it dirty. Don't make it
it
dirty.
already
No.
yeah, don't walk it
No.
back.
No,
You did
listen,
it.
it's just,
You did it.
it's just such a sad thing. And when I think about it, because how many cases, and you asked him, I'm grateful you asking him questions that I ask you. Yes, people smarter than me. Um, when does it ever work out? Like, when does this ever work out other than what the Getty kidnapping, where those guys got paid? But I forget what happened to those kidnappers. Getty probably had them executed and skinned alive, but it doesn't work out. Like it's not like, okay, here's the money. Okay, here's the person. Fare thee well. Thank you. See you later. It might work out because it's become institutionalized and in some parts of Mexico, like in Mexico City, where there are these like professional kidnappers that kidnap the kids of rich people, but everyone understands they're not going to hurt them. They want to get paid. Okay, we'll pay you. We'll get our kid back, and that's it. It's like it's almost an accepted risk of being wealthy in some countries, but it doesn't happen here. It never works out. Never
I know
works out.
it's like bank robberies. I don't get, and so going back to, was this a burglary gone wrong? Because that seems to make more sense in that everything going down, like why would it take 3 days to get the ransom note? You've got someone who's got life-threatening injury, I mean life-threatening health conditions, So like I think that
And you've got like a dipshit at the front door, either like a master criminal who knew that how to make investigators think that he didn't know what he was doing, like where he had the gun and he threw the gloves out the window and all that, like made a lot of mistakes. That it seems like the opening episode of a season of Fargo, right? Where there's just like an incompetent burglar who winds up killing someone by accident and like, oh shit, now what? And then
mhm,
ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I get away with this? Tell him that it was a kidnapping and send a ransom note and all that, because it doesn't even know how to do the ransom stuff. There's been no proof of life, at least that we know of.
mhm.
Uh, it's this nebulous kind of floating deadline without any consequence attached. So uh, I'm not confident. Again, I hope I'm wrong. But
I mean, I
um,
think it's what I kind of glommed onto is like why does this happen where they won't, and I don't know how true this is, but like in reading media reports about the sheriff's office being criticized for not bringing in the FBI and it's like earlier and like why? If that's true, like you have to know this is going to be a big case, and especially as it builds, right away. It's not like you can say, well, it wasn't really, people weren't really talking about it. People started talking about it right away. I mean, it was like so I don't get and I don't understand their media strategy of how they're like they just recently announced today, the sheriff was like, okay, all of the immediate family has been cleared. They are not suspects. Let's so like if you knew that a long time ago, why didn't you just do that? Because it's kind of like those things of you hear, and I don't know if this is apples to apples, but like the husband who comes in, the wife's been murdered, he's like, "Hey, give me a lie detector. Do everything you can. Clear me as a suspect so you can completely look for the actual
right,
killer.
don't waste resources on me.
Don't
Yeah,
waste resources on
yeah,
us." And I think that so many people were like, "Oh, it's the family. It's da, 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 da,"
like me. Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, it's someone close because
yeah.
they just weren't saying anything, and then they were doing all of these searches at, the her daughter's home, and you're just kind of like, with social media, it's just kind of like, these are victims, the family members, and it's like they can't say anything to defend themselves because they don't want to jeopardize the investigation. But it's like I don't know, it just seems and we're armchair quarterbacking and we don't know, this is a very difficult case, but
Well, let's say you're the
you know,
officer in charge of the FBI Tucson field office, and this case comes to you,
hmm
right?
hmm
What do you ask? You determine is this something that the FBI should apply resources to? And they probably said, wait, huh? You have no proof of life. There was the victim's blood at the scene. She has life-threatening medical conditions and a pacemaker, and no one, not alone, let alone proof of life, but they haven't called and said, hey, if you want her to live while we're negotiating, give us her meds. They're like, guys, she's dead. You don't need us. Like, you think is that a possibility? Why the FBI was late to the party? They're like, why are we
Well,
going?
no, the FBI wanted to, it sounds like, and of course, this is just speculation based on news reports that I've
Yeah,
seen. This isn't me having any like source inside of anything.
right,
But no, it sounds like the sheriff's office got the call and they weren't real quick to have the FBI be involved or somehow, kept information to themselves. I don't know exactly what it was, but it sounds like that kind of infighting thing happened. And, the FBI, as we've learned so many times from doing all these cases, they have to be invited in unless it's like a case that belongs to them. Like
right,
this is something that, and they have, infinite resources compared to the Pima County Sheriff's Office. So, um, and the tech to try to figure out, are these ransom notes legit? Can we trace this Bitcoin and this VPN? So I don't know. It just seems like if that's true, I hope that's not true because
right.
it's like you have this huge agency that could help and then as Cloyd was saying, you have these higher ups in his experience who basically make, go in front of the cameras and it reminded me in the Night Stalker where that
Yeah.
mayor went and just was like, "Hey,
Feinstein. Yeah. She went on to be a U.S. Senator for California forever. Yeah. 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 It
yeah," but
just
she
fucked
gave
up the
away,
case.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, you know, it's just I don't think anybody, you know, anticipated this happening, obviously. The Today Show host mother is kidnapped, and then the reaction of it's like the story is changing. It seems like hour by hour. There's
Really, has it changed? What's changed so much? She's still not around. There's still no proof of life. They're testing DNA on the gloves. Like there's no suspect, at least that's been named.
Mhm.
I don't think it's changed much at all. What else do we know?
Well, I think that maybe the headlines have just changed.
Hmm.
Another the TMZ gets another TMZ gets another letter. It's basically
Yeah,
someone saying, "Hey, I think she's in Mexico. I heard them say I fear for my life. I want to make sure I get the reward." And so there's a lot of media involvement in this. There's a
yeah.
lot of armchair detective involved in it. There's like, people just wanting her to be found and praying and thoughts, and the president is weighing in, which is, of course, par for the course, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just seems like, but to your point, we don't really, they are no closer
Yeah.
at this hour to, I don't know. I think that something like the signal sniffer, definitely, if she's in the area and it has that technology, I kind of figured that pacemaker was going to have something that seemed like a big thing, because that in and of itself seems like it could be a way that you would at least know if she was still alive, if not be able to somehow track,
Is this going to
you
be
know.
like that? Is this going to be like that Malaysian Airlines flight that just disappeared and we're never going to know the answer to anything?
I don't think so. I truly believe they're going to figure this out. Or I'm sorry, a botched burglary. And they were in the house for 41 minutes and things went bad and they're like, what are we going to do? Let's bring her with us. What Cloyd was saying about two or three people would make sense to, but then if it was a burglary, would they need two or three people? So I don't know, but I do think that it will be, I do think it's solvable. I do think they're going to figure it out. I really do. Now, whether she is still alive, I hope so. That would be amazing, you know?
May that would be story of the year. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like if
I
after
mean,
all of this she comes home alive, jeez.
yeah.
But I mean, what are the chan I don't know. I think the chances are super slim, and I just I don't think we're ever going to get the full story, to be honest. I don't.
You mean if we don't find the people, or just because they're going to want to cover it up, or just because, like,
I think
why
a
don't
little
you
bit of
think?
both. I think a little bit of both. I think that, and again, I don't know, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but for all of the people who are saying that, these guys didn't know what they were doing, they've successfully evaded capture for over 2 weeks, right? And no one
Yeah.
knows who they are, and they have no named suspects, not even a composite. Like, yo, this is who we're looking for, even just as a person of interest.
Well, they have the guy. They have the guy's eyes. They have his backpack. They're checking Walmart. I mean, I think they're going to be
Yeah,
tracking these
but look,
people.
when we had like the Mangione thing, or
hmm
the kid who shot Charlie Kirk, the kid who tried to assassinate President Trump, like within an hour, like here's surveillance video. Do you recognize his gait,
hmm
right? How
hmm
he walks, or like this shirt that he's wearing, or whatever. Sure, they have this guy's backpack, but with Mangione, it's like look at his eyebrows and look at his eyes and look at this and look at that. And there were images plastered like everywhere, and this it just doesn't seem to be getting that type of urgency. So, in my opinion, and
I think,
I
well, then
consume a lot of news.
it gets back to the FBI, and if there's these inner tensions that we don't know about.
Right.
Maybe in the Mangione there wasn't. And there was a
Yeah.
clear, I mean, that's where I think leadership and all of that plays such a huge important part of like, okay, this is not going to become this political
Yeah.
tool. Like
No,
I
you're
just
right.
think that
That's the X factor. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the X factor is what we don't know. I bet there's a
what
lot
we
of
don't
shit
know.
a lot of shit we don't know. Yeah, obviously.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But I think we're going to find out something within the next few days. I really do.
Wow. Wow. Breaking news. Okay.
I do.
Next few
I do.
days. So by the end of the week, Carolyn thinks we're going to know everything. You heard it. You heard
No,
her.
I said I think we're going to find
Carolyn said
something.
solved by
Something.
Friday. Solved
Okay.
by Friday.
You
Carolyn
know
Ossorio.
what? Okay, you
I'm
heard it
kidding.
here.
I'm
You
kidding. You
heard
heard
it
it here
here
first.
first.
Well, that's good. I like these check-ins. But for a second, I want to shift to one thing
Mm.
in the Brendan Banfield case.
Yes.
Um, she got screwed so much for making a deal. She got the max, and the judge was pissed
Yeah.
she couldn't give her more.
Yeah.
And the other thing I found out is that I don't think anyone on earth, including her, knows how to pronounce her last name. I've heard 100 different versions of her
I,
last
I
name
know, and you've already given me shit for at least three of them. So you
because
know what?
every time you
Okay,
try and say it, you change.
okay, well, what would you say?
I'm not going to try.
I haven't.
I don't think it's pronounceable.
You know what? I think that it's like
I'm not
you
going to
not
fall into the
eating
trap
freaking pumpkin pie. You need
because
to
it's,
just you need to pipe down. If you're
I
not
don't
even
think
willing to try, if
I
you're
don't
not
think
even
anybody
willing to
likes
get
it.
into the arena,
No,
you know what?
I don't think anybody likes pumpkin pie. I stick by that. And I think it's a trick. It's a trap to try to, I think it's unpronounceable. So,
Okay, come on, just try. I want to hear you
no.
try.
There's this
Do
great
you know
story.
how many wait, no, you're not
No, no,
kidding.
no, no, hear me out. There's a great story my grandfather told me when he was a professor, that he told, I don't know if it's apocryphal, I don't know if it's true, I have no idea, but it's to your point about you have to get up, you have to at least try. He said that there was a physics teacher and he spent this whole class with these two problems on the board that were unsolvable. Like mathematicians for 500 years been trying to solve these. Newton couldn't do it, Einstein couldn't do it. No one could do it. Unsolvable. If you could solve these, holy shit. All right. Had them up on the board. And there was one kid sitting in the back who was asleep the whole class.
Mhm,
Bell rings and he gets up and he sees these problems and he thinks that they're homework. And so he just copies them down, stays up all night and actually solves one of them
mhm.
because he didn't know that it was supposedly impossible.
I don't know. Is this
So,
Goodwill Hunting? What?
so it's the restrictions that we put on ourselves sometimes that keeps us in chains, Carolyn. Okay.
I don't get. I'm trying to release you from your own
I,
chains
I
and
have,
make fun of you at the same
but I
time.
happen to believe that the last name is unpronounceable unless you speak Portuguese, and I don't speak Portuguese. So
Okay, you know what?
so
You know how many here,
out of
this is
respect
so no,
for the
no.
Brazilian mother tongue, out of respect, I'm going to
You know
withhold
what's
my.
so funny? Well, then if you are taking that stand, then
Mm,
the next time I fuck up and mispronounce someone's name, you
I will hold
either
my.
eat a piece of pumpkin pie, you will either take a slice of pumpkin pie and eat it.
I will withhold my sarcasm and ball busting. I will the next time that happens. I will.
Okay. All right.
However,
All right.
what do you think about, because I read the 10 reasons the judge said I wish I could give you more time.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge was pissed that this woman got a deal. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that the judge doesn't think it was worth it at all. You convinced this guy. You watched the Brendan stabbing his wife in the neck. You didn't help, like so many things. I'm like, oh my gosh, she she should be in jail for life right beside him. She should. She totally should.
Yeah.
Gosh, crazy.
Hey, I'm just happy that she got the 10 years because there could have been a world where she could have walked away and got a next Netflix deal. And,
Oh.
like now, not only does she have the 10 years, but I was thinking about this. If she has 2 years of parole, then that's 12 years. She can't go back home until,
Yeah,
you
they gave
know,
her time served so far for two. They think she could be out in as little as four with good behavior. 4 years from now, she could be out.
oh,
Yeah. Because
oh,
10-year sentence, if you're a model prisoner, you do six. She's already been in jail for almost two,
okay.
right? So they think she could
Okay.
be out in four. So unless, she turns into like some boss in prison and is fucking people up and whatever. Um, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
I knew some
like
Brazilian kids. They were really tough. So I don't know. That's all I know about. So maybe she's a badass, but um,
I guess we'll see.
we'll find out. But man, 10 years. I was so happy to see that. And then again, rarely do you see that kind. Judges are no sometimes or usually like dispassionate in their application of justice, but this judge was like, man, you deserve every hour of this sentence.
Well, because I think she absolutely
She
does.
does,
Like,
100%
even though
does.
we said she was, very believable on the stand, she still was a part of that entire process
She
and
went
even
along with it.
talked to Joseph Ryan and pretended to be,
Oh,
you know, the wife.
she convinced him to bring the knife or to bring the gun, whatever, for
I know
realism.
what that takes, and knowing that your boss,
You're
the
leading a
woman that
lamb to slaughter. Yes.
is like fair and just a good person, and
Yep.
like,
Good mom, good
you know,
wife, good person. Yep.
I
Oof.
mean, it's just, I mean, anyway, I'm so happy that when I found out that she got the 10 years, I was
Same,
like,
same,
yes,
same, same, same. Huh. All right.
yeah,
Well, hey, listen, let's thank you for the update on Guthrie and keep
yeah,
us in the loop. Keep us in the loop. And I hope you're right and that we learned something. And I hope that I'm wrong and that they kept her alive and that there's some humanity in them. But we'll see.
hmm
We will see. So and listen, Nation, if something breaks during the week, we'll drop in with a drop in episode and we'll keep you up to date. But in the meantime, Carolyn, anything you want to add?
nope.
No? All right. Well, if you
Oh,
enjoyed the episode,
wait
oh
a second.
yes. Yes.
We have our event coming in Seattle. There are tickets
Oh yes.
available
Yes,
for
if you
April 9th.
all fans of the
Um,
Shadow Girls, if you remember the Shadow Girls, that's where Carolyn and I met. It came out in 2022. It was a great show about the Green River Killer. There's some new developments. The show's been re-released, and there's a lot going on. So we're going to be doing a live event in Seattle, like Carolyn said, on April 9th. So
yes.
if you're
So
in
go
the
to our
greater
socials.
Seattle
Yeah.
area, and if you're not just bedridden from melancholy from the weather, come on out
Okay.
and
What I wanted to tell you, and I won't do this, but I really was thinking your gift when you come to Seattle is
mm,
a pair of Birkenstocks.
oh god, oh my god, and a hacky sack, okay, and dreadlocks,
I
okay,
wasn't
yeah.
sure if I wanted to get the standard kind that were, or the ones that are the full foot.
Look, I will either return them for cash or give them to a homeless person. All right.
Okay, stop.
I
No.
will.
And
I am serious. I'm serious. You know what else the Pacific Northwest is famous for? Nikes. Get me some Nikes. There you go.
no, no.
Yes. Yes.
Birkenstocks. Yes.
No.
You know
Absolutely
what?
not.
You're going to be on stage.
I, I would rather wear a pink tutu than Birkenstocks.
I think
Okay.
both would be great. I would love
Absolutely
to
not.
see you in that. Yeah, look at
Absolutely
you.
not.
You're
All right.
getting all nervous and
No
crazy.
way.
Oh my
Well, listen,
God.
Nation, if you enjoyed the episode, please consider sharing it with someone who likes to stay up to date with current events in the true crime arena, and rate and review the show. Every little bit helps with the algorithm, helps more people discover what we're doing over here. So appreciate your support, and until next time, stay safe.
Okay, bye.
Later.
From Pie in the Sky Media, Criminal Mischief is an EVO production, recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For EVO Creative, I'm Carolyn Ossorio, your writer and host.